As you can see here, I got the dreaded rear tire flat on a hub motor bike. I'm going to show you a first method where I am not removing the wheel, and this is something you could potentially do by the side of the trail. I did have to rotate the display and the shifter down off the handlebars. Display up on the top side of the handlebars and your shifter. So those, if you flip this over onto its top, which is what we're going to do, flip it upside down, these are going to get damaged. So we either have to put something under the grips. There's also that thing called the handlebar jack. I don't like to buy extra things, so I'm going to use probably either wood block or move these so that you can put this up on its handlebars and the seat. All right, flip things over so I can be able to do it that way. Now the first thing I want to do after that is I want to make sure I get down to the smallest cog, which is also the highest gear in the rear. It makes it easier if I have to get to the step where I take the wheel off. So really all I need is some tire levers. I use these Park Tool, they don't even have, the glue's already on the patch, little rectangular patches. I really like these. I'll put the link down below for these few little tools. And this battery powered pump, which is kind of nice when you're doing this because then you can have your hands free. With these sort of budget tires, you typically don't need a whole lot of force. And when you're up here, you can actually use the tire to your advantage and just kind of move this around. I removed the tire bead on the brake side so there's more room to work and I don't have to worry about the chain. I'm going to move this so the valve stem is down. And this will really only work very well is if you have a pinhole leak. I don't really know what kind of leak there is yet. I'm just going to show you this first method. All right, so now I'm just going to use my ear, see if I can hear where the leak is, or see it. All right, I think I found the leak. I have a little piece of colored tape that I ripped off so I can just kind of put it there. I'm not trying to patch it with that. I'm just trying to see if I can see if there's more than one leak anywhere. This is not too bad of a hole. It looks like it's kind of interesting hole. I'm not even sure how it happened. But I don't really see anything too bad. Oh, there it is. Looky there. I just found it. It was a staple. So the other thing you always have to do right after you patch a tube is make sure you feel the inside of your tire to make sure whatever caused the hole is not still sitting in your tire. I've done that before. It always sucks to get a reflatted. All right, so with this type of patch, all you have to do is rough up the area around where you're going to put it. It's really just a simple, it says right on the back of each patch, clean a rough tube, peel off backing, and press on the tube. I'm going to go ahead and push the tube back into the tire. That way I don't get it caught up around here anymore. I'm going to bank on the fact that I was able to pump this up and it was not getting flat immediately, that was my only hole. You can see with this kind of really not that great a tire, I was able to just press it on very easily. All right, assuming that was the only leak, we would now be good to go. And that's really not too bad to do beside the trail. I mean, both of the things I had to move on the handlebar just took a Phillips screwdriver. So if you have that on your multi-tool and you had a patch kit and a tire lever, you'd be pretty set. So I'm going to show you the second method, which is removing the whole damn tire. And this isn't a lot of fun, but it is much easier upside down like this. Even though I have a bike stand, I opt for this method on a hub motor because then I can lift it off of the dropouts versus it wanting to fall out. So the real benefit is actually on the putting it back on side versus the taking it off side. So this one has nut covers. Take off the nut covers. Try not to laugh when you say nut cover. The other thing I wouldn't have with me if I was on the trail is a way to cut this zip tie here. So I would have to take this wheel off and keep it really close to the bike. That could be a little problematic because you don't have a lot of slack here, even though you have a disconnect. I'm going to go ahead and snip this zip tie just as part of this demonstration, but know if you're beside the trail and you're having to pull the tire off all the way, you might want to be just like taking this home and doing it another way. This is the first time this back wheel's been off, and a lot of time these factory tighten bolts are extremely tight. What I'm having to do right now is one of the reasons I really prefer a mid-drive bike, because then your wheel set is just like a wheel set. It's not, you don't have this complexity of weight of a motor sitting back here. So now that I've loosened those, I snipped that zip tie here and I unplugged the wiring for the motor. Now I can push the derailleur back to give yourself space there, and then just lift straight up. Oh, come on, really? Sometimes they design these rear hub motors in just a way that doesn't help you out very well. This one, this side nut is in the way if I try to pull, so I have to actually have to take the nut down off onto the cable so I actually can get it off of here. There we go. So there we go. So now from here, I would do the same process. I'd let out the air. If there was any air, you know, if it's flat, there wouldn't be any air really. Take off your tube. This is really easy to take off with even one single tire lever to get the one side of the bead off. Doesn't really matter what side you take it off at that time. Pull it out, put in your new tube. This is a Schrader valve. Then one of the things I would really, there's a lot of people like want to use different sealants. My advice is to buy a better tire, you know. Get a Schwalbe or a Continental tire or something with a flat protection guard in the main part of the tire. It just makes all the difference, and I have never seen a success rate with the sealants. I've had as many flats with tires with sealants as with tires without. I just wish I had more faith in sealants. I might as well do a couple tips for putting this damn thing back on when I'm doing it. Same process applies. We're going to push the derailleur back so we get this thing kind of out of our way, and the reason to go to the smallest cog is because then I have the smallest amount of cassette to try to jump over onto. So I kind of have to be a little conscious of where my flat-sided washers are, because those have to go into the dropout a certain way. And I think they go into the top side of the dropout on this one. So you have to make sure those washers, those slotted washers, are all the way in. And really, before you even do anything else, just kind of make sure it seems like it's sitting in there just about right. And you're going to probably get some grease on you from the chain. Now I'm hearing quite a bit of brake drag just dropping it back in there. That could be one, just that I haven't squeezed in the dropout, so it's not really in the finished position. That's what I'm hoping. But there'll be another video to help you adjust those brakes. Because I had to disconnect the motor, and it sits right on here, and it goes through the same place as this. I think this is this is the rear taillight cable. So I'm going to have another zip tie to put back on there. If you have a hub motor bike, to not only have all the tools to get this off, but also carry an extra zip tie and something to remove the motor control wire if you need to do that. After tightening up, no more brake rub like I got squeezed into the spot I had it adjusted before. Now we're going to be ready to roll.